Hello, and welcome to session 2 of our AI and Leadership short course. I am Dr. Toyosi Oniloye, and I have with me today some of my colleagues and some guests that are going to be taking you through sessions and details about this, some topics in this course. We also have one of our guests who is a student, one of our old students at the University of Chester. And I'm going to allow the rest of my colleagues and our guests to introduce themselves, starting with Sammar.
Hi, my name is Sammar, and I am a senior lecturer in the School of Computers and Engineering Sciences in the University of Chester. I mostly teach courses related to blockchain, business intelligence, and machine learning here.
Thank you very much, Sammar. I also have Alex.
Thanks, Toyosi. I'm Dr. Alex Benson. I am the Associate Dean International for our Faculty Science Business Enterprise and Associate Professor Digital Transformation.
Thank you very much, Alex. Teddy.
I am Teddy Obiekugo. I hold a bachelor's in information technology and a master's in cybersecurity. Currently, a desktop engineer in the financial sector and actively volunteering for the cybersecurity organization to support cybercrime victims. I'm passionate about digital security, problem solving, and helping people stay safe online. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Teddy. And just to know, we had a session last week. So if you had missed the session, please feel free to catch up on the delivery we had last week. We have the recording available on the YouTube channel of the Faculty of Science and Business Enterprise, University of Chester. I'm going to hand over to Alex to give us more details about this course, and then we'll take it from there. Alex?
Great stuff. Thanks, Toyosi. Yeah, welcome to session 2. So this one, last week we gave an introduction to the program and to we had a great presentations from yourself, Toyosi, and from Professor Sylvester. So this week we wanted to delve into some of the use cases of AI as well. So we're hoping to have another guest joining us in a little while, and obviously we've got Sammar and Teddy as well. So that's brilliant. So just as a quick, a very quick introduction. We just wanted to mention as well our related courses as well. Toyosi, obviously, everybody can see those on the screen, but Toyosi, tell us a little bit about what people can do to join, to join MSc or BScs at Chester.
Thank you very much, Alex. So we have some related courses to the course we're delivering, and you will find on the screen that there are some that look quite specific to AI, but the ones that don't quite sound like AI, they also have some elements of AI across the courses. We have the bachelor's programs, we have the MSc programs, depending on what level of career or educational progression you are at the moment. It depends on the requirement for each program. So for the BSc, we have specific requirements. For the MSc, we have specific requirements. Some of the ones that may be of interest, particularly for those who do not have any computer-based backgrounds, are the conversion courses, which actually allow you to be able to blend into the course just after the carrying on, we carrying us through us carrying you through the conversion course, which takes approximately 1 year, 9 months. So yeah, feel free to check our website to find any of the courses that relate to or of interest that may be of interest to you, which you can register with us. Thank you.
What's exciting as well, Toyosi, obviously with the BScs, the undergraduate programs, this can be done in 3 years full time or with a 1 year placement, which I think is exciting. But even more excitingly, the MScs now have all got the opportunity to do those in 1 year or 2 years with a project or placement. Now we're talking about AI technology. There's some really exciting potential projects and placements there as well. And that's, for me, really super good value for money if you take into account, what all the benefits of studying at Chester. So that's really good. So what's great about these short courses as well is it does allow people, apart from all the brilliant content and speakers, we're going to be joined by Steve has joined us from the Chief Data Officer of Rightmove, is going to be joining us shortly. It's just finding out a bit more about studying at Chester and studying in the UK, but we're not going to dwell on that too much. But just a quick reminder, if you've not done so already, you can register for this short course for free on our website, Chester AC UK /study/AI and leadership. It is going to be 5 1-hour sessions between July and September's. with our experts and live discussion and QA. It's live streamed and recorded to Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And then you can get access to all sessions on our learning management system and the final quiz and certificate. That's what the certificate looks like. So your name's going to go there. We've seen a lot of people sharing these things on LinkedIn, which is great. And a quick reminder, obviously we're on session 2 this week. Session 3 is going to be with Dr. Joe on AI data and security on the 29th of July. And we've got the wonderful Professor Maz Hardy from Durham as a guest. Session 4, then we're taking a bit of a break in August, but we're back with a vengeance on the 1st of September with AI and transformation case studies with Professor Bin Yang and Adam Worrell. And we should have another special guest as well from industry on that session. And then the final session 5 is on the 9th of September with Dr. Sufyan and AI and project management and Professor Catherine Walsh in AI and the environment. So without further ado, I'm going to invite Steve onto the stage. Hi, Steve. How are you doing?
Yeah, morning, Alex. I'm great. Hopefully you can hear me okay.
Yeah, perfectly well, Steve. Thank you so much for joining us. I've previously added your slides here, Steve. If you want to move slide, you can ask me. If you can't move those, just ask me and I'll move that along for you. But Steve, if you could give us a quick introduction to yourself. You've got about sort of 10, 15 minutes. So please, looking forward to some insights from yourself.
Excellent. Well, yeah, firstly, thanks very much for having me. And yeah, I'll give a quick description of who I am and what I do, my background, talk generally about Rightmove. I'm sure a lot of people will on here will have heard of it as a massive brand, a little bit about data, and then I'll jump into the AI use cases. And actually, I just caught the start of your session, and many of the courses that are on there really relate to, you know, a huge digital company like Rightmove. So I'll be able to reference it. A little bit of background though, I actually started myself with a degree in statistics and computing. So applied statistics and computing many, many decades ago now. And who'd have thought that degree would lead into, you know, a career in data and analytics, and now companies like Rightmove having, you know, chief data officers that are part of the executive team. So what I would say is anybody looking for a fantastic career in industry, you're definitely on the right pathway with all things data, analytics, cyber, digital, and intelligence. So next slide. Thank you. So I just wanted to frame, we can't really talk about AI in isolation. So as Chief Data Officer of Rightmove, and Rightmove are one of the leading property portals in the UK, and millions of people turn to Rightmove just to make that next move. So for properties to buy, to rent, and just generally understanding the property industry in the UK. And AI plays a big role in that. So I'll talk to some use cases in a second. But just to frame it, as a business, Rightmove has a network business. So it's got consumers on one side of the network logging on every single day, but it's also got partners or a B2B model on the other side. So every estate agent in the UK wants to list their properties on Rightmove, but also new home developers want to get their properties out there, build to rent organizations that are building massive infrastructure for the UK. So does mortgage brokers, so does lenders, so do insurance brokers, movers, etc. There's a huge network. And as a platform, we've got both sides of the network. So how and where does AI show up? It shows up really in competitive advantage through driving use cases. And each of those use cases really fits one of the value buckets at the top of this strategy house model. So what do we want to do with our data and AI? We want to delight consumers in the UK to make it more frictionless and personalized, to find their next house and make that next move. We want to work with partners to make it more efficient and more valuable to find the right audiences on Rightmove. We actually have a whole business model that is selling data and insights to companies like mortgages, for mortgage brokers for valuations, And because we are such a large network with tens of thousands of companies and millions of consumers connected, we think there's a big role for things like agentic and Gen AI to play in making the whole network more efficient. So that's broadly our value buckets. All of that is underpinned by a capability maturity model across data, insight, and action and trust, and brilliant foundations of a team of about 60 people at Rightmove who dedicated to data analytics, many of them with the degrees that you saw before. I've got data scientists, I've got data engineers, I've got data analysts, I've got the company plays a big role in terms of cyber. So, you know, a really rich, skilled team in what I call a hub and spoke model. That's an operating model for how to run data analytics at scale. So that's a bit of framing. Next slide, I'll talk to a little bit of the data environment. So this just gives a few snippets into the scale of data, because you can't really do AI without great data. It's obviously the foundation for, you know, building a model, training a model, or as we move more into agentic and multimodal, it is, you know, both structured and unstructured data. So this just starts to highlight the scale of data at Rightmove, and we like to frame that across three spines: the consumer spine, the partner spine, and the property spine. And just as a bit of a key, K means 1,000, M means 1,000,000, and B means 1,000,000,000. So if you think every single day we have millions of consumers logging on to our website, and they are leaving their digital breadcrumbs. So they are clicking on properties, they are making searches, they are opening emails, they are filling in forms about leads for estate agents. And, you know, so billions of touch points every single day, every page view, every mouse click, and across all our content across that network. So a huge scale of data there. When it comes to properties, the things that consumers are looking to view, we upload about 10,000 brand new properties every single day. And a property isn't just the structured data, like the address and the price, it's the unstructured data. So every image, what about the floor plans? What about the brochures? And what about the local information about that particular property? So that's all loaded onto the platform as well. And on the right-hand side is where all our partners connect. So thousands of developers, 10,000 plus branches for every estate agent in the UK. And we also run services for surveyors who are looking to understand and value properties across the UK. So that's a bit of a frame. What do we do with that data? On the left-hand side here, we do a lot of business intelligence and forecasting and regression analysis and time series modeling of, you know, predicting how many people will visit and how many leads will generate and what price are there in the UK. And on the right-hand side, that's a bit of a frame for where our AI use cases show up. And they show up really across this network. So we're going to jump into AI use cases for consumers in the UK, for partners, for our operations, and some future ones. So let's move to the next slide. Brilliant. So this really is example use cases that we are working on at Rightmove. I'll also bring it to life from previous experience across very.co.uk, which was a huge scale retailer, and also for time at Money Supermarket and other big brands in the UK. I'll talk to a bit of that. So let's start with consumer. You know, as a big B2C, both Rightmove and the likes of Very really are thinking about how to extract intelligence from images. So at Rightmove, that would be property images, where we think using Gen AI models and transformer models, we can do image to text and think about the features that make up that particular property. What does that mean? So we're starting to think about how do we extract the fact that the image has got a solar panel, or maybe the kitchen has got high spec electrics. So it just gives us information that we extract from our images. It was the same at Very when we wanted to extract features about products such as furniture and other things. So using Gen AI transformer models to build a whole new layer of semantic understanding about the business. How do we use that? Well, we start to think about using that for things like personalization, recommendation, and more thinking about conversational search. And I'm sure many of us have now started to use ChatGPT. Actually, it's the 9th most visited website in the UK now. Obviously, we all use Google, and they've recently launched AI overviews and are about to launch AI mode in the UK. So conversational search and how, you know, generative experience are going to show up in B2C is a big topic for many companies across that landscape. So that's the consumer pillar. So it's all about creating personalization, extracting information from images, and turning the dialogue into, rather than filtering, conversational search. When we think about our partner network, one of the biggest things we leverage AI for is actually to do what we call automated valuation models. So that's where we run analysis, where we predict both the sale and rental price of every property in the UK. That again is, you know, a Python model scripted to understand various features, supply and demand, what market rates are, what inflation is, and put that together and do a prediction of every property in the UK at massive scale. So again, leveraging many of the data science techniques, training a model, building a model, deploying a model, understanding the accuracy of those models, and running that on a very, very frequent basis for millions of properties in the UK. We're also starting to help our partners with auto-generative responses, i.e. leveraging Gen AI in our experience, where we act as a layer between consumers and estate agents. What does that mean? Let's give you an example. Somebody asks for an online valuation of their house. We can run an automated AVM. We can generate a response based upon that individual customer who's applying to the estate agent, and that can be fully automated with some generative toolkits and pipelines. So that's an example of some partner use cases. In operations, many companies think about how to reduce the cost to serve. And, you know, Rightmove and again, Very were no different in that space. So things like anomaly detection and fraud detection are things that both of those companies have looked at. And also more and more thinking about how to support consumers with digital propositions are things like chatbots. So again, leveraging large language model technology with a knowledge base so the consumer can ask basic questions and get, you know, citations in terms of that great response from a knowledge base, all built with a, you know, a chat interface. So that's a great example of how AI use cases today are helping, you know, big corporate enterprises scale their businesses and operations at a lower cost, and actually sometimes with even better net promoter score, i.e. consumers loving the interface and loving the digital contact. And then finally, let's look and nod to the future. What are we working on and what the industry tends to work on? I think multimodal is making a massive penetration in many businesses, B2Cs, in marketing and some of the big agencies. What do we mean by multimodal? You know, text to voice, avatars where we're, you know, auto-generating content, image creation, video creation, all from single prompts. So that's a real growing environment and a set of technology and data science principles across all those various multimodal dynamics. And then where are we heading? Well, I think the whole space of agentic is getting extremely interesting. What framing agentic, what does that mean? I quite like the React framework, so that's reasoning and actioning. And how industries are starting to think about how an agentic solution might show up. Let's give an example for Rightmove. Wouldn't it be great if you could ask your agent to find you all houses in the UK at a certain price point, keep you alerted, and also when there is something that fits your particular requirements, automatically book and schedule an appointment to go and visit it. And we can see, agents showing up in many industries across the UK as they're starting to scale. So hopefully that just gives you a tour of some of the use cases that we're driving at Rightmove and I've driven throughout the last couple of years of my career. And happy to hand you back to Alex or take any questions at this point if you wanted to.
Thank you so much, Steve. That's really insightful. I'm going to bring these guys back into the stage if they've got any questions. And I'm also going to ask our audience, we've got quite a lot of live viewers today. I'm going to ask our audience if they want to pose a question as well. But yeah, I've certainly got any questions. Toyosi, Teddy, Sammar, have you got any questions, comments at this point?
Yes, I have a question. Actually, I really appreciate Steve for mentioning the idea of predicting outcomes in businesses. And it's quite interesting to see how that had improved your productivity. One of the big questions we asked during the session last week was, is AI actually replacing humans? So if you can just give us a bit of insight into how that had worked out in your organization. Did people really have to lose their jobs for you to be able to achieve some of these goals?
Yeah, sure. I think the reality is my term is like AI is replacing tasks, not humans. So there are certain tasks that AI can help either automate and or actually just generally do better than humans can do, at enormous scale, trying to find an anomaly in, billions of lines of transactions or fraud that we're not designed for that. That said, all of the AI use cases has a human in the loop. Because again, many companies are either regulated or you need to explain it for people to understand it. So humans are always in the loop. And actually what you find is the most successful data science models that I deploy are not always the most academic. They are not the perfect solution from a mathematics perspective. They are the ones that have been co-created with a business unit, i.e. a human in the loop, that they understand how it works. We both leverage technology and math, but bring that together with the sort of human intuition and the fact that one of the biggest changes is the change in culture, not just the model itself. So to answer your question, no, we haven't replaced humans. We've replaced tasks, which gives hopefully humans more time to focus on more valuable tasks.
Thank you very much, Steve. I think that's good to know. I think that encourage or comfort a lot of people that are quite scared about losing their jobs.
I've got a related question as well, Steve, as a leader, and somebody that come into a really senior position within an organization and handle on it. Obviously, kind of the future of the business and the talent pipeline, the humans still going to be really important, isn't it? So, do you have any advice for current students or students that are thinking about choosing a program? Like, what should they be looking for in order to be able to get into these types of roles?
Oh, great question. Well, maybe I'll give you an example of the type of roles I've got in the company, because I think there's various like pathways, if we want to call it that. So I think you've got, everybody just wants to talk about AI at this point in time, really, and everyone's like, we have to do AI. That's not really true in a business environment. AI is just one of the capabilities under the data and analytics bucket. So let's start with, I have lots of people that have computer sciences degree with maths degree that are doing data engineering. So they are SQL, Python skills at massive scale, lots of computer science, thinking about scalability and infrastructure and cost. We call those data engineers.
Yeah.
I've got a team of people that build business intelligence. So that's analytical engineers and BI developers. So they tend to know SQL, greater visualization, storytelling, and those type of techniques. So much more as well. being about presenting data and in an environment, either through a dashboard or through presenting. So that's a different pathway. I've got data scientists, both people building the model, so data scientists, PhD mathematicians that really want to excel in the model building. But also I've got machine learning engineers, because to run that at scale on a big, massive platform with the right security and resilience and guardrails takes a lot of engineering skills. So data science and ML engineers. And also there's a growing role for people that understand technology, maths and data, but are really great at either product management or project management. So the coordination of all these various skills and disciplines, with a technical slant and a mathematical slant, but actually about stakeholder management, commercial acumen, storytelling, and that can be as well as a great career. So I think those are the various pathways that I would today highlight in data and analytics. But it's constantly evolving, because prompt engineering and that whole space is starting to be roles that who knows where we'll be in the next 2 or 3 years. But I think if you ground yourself in a lot of the courses you mentioned at the start, data, applied maths, computer science, that those are a great mix with then the softer skills of understanding business and people.
Brilliant. I mean, I think as an addition, one of our students has done a 1-year placement with Rightmove within this area as well, in addition to the degree or masters. And, it really allows, I suppose, that hands-on experience as well, doesn't it? Aside from obviously the academics. So I think, I guess increasingly, that experience through your program as well is going to be fairly key, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I think, and actually back in the day, Alex, I did a placement year, and that really grounded me in terms of understanding business and understanding, maybe which of the pathways were right for me as well. So that type of experience really shows up well when we think about, candidates and interviewing.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Steve. Okay, so just in the interest of time, I think we can move on to the next speaker, which is going to be Dr. Sammar. So thank you so much for your time, Steve. It was absolutely insightful as always. Please do feel free to hang around. I know you're really busy though today, but thanks again, Steve, for your time. It's been amazing.
Thanks very much. And you're all doing a great job, and keep the next generation coming.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, we've got a couple of questions have just popped in actually, which Sammar Toyosi and I, Amanda's asking here about. She has a question. What's your opinion about AI in healthcare? Toyosi or Sammar, do you have a question an answer to that one?
I'll come to that in my presentation. So
okay.
I hope that question will be answered aptly in my presentation.
So we can come back to that one then. So that's brilliant. And then we've got a question here from Kenneth. What's your concern about using AI tools ethically? Again, I suppose this is a big topic, isn't it? And to an extent, Sammar, you're going to cover that one as well.
Not me, but there would be an AI and ethics sessions towards the end of the entire course in day 5. So I think that professor will be covering AI with ethics in detail.
Absolutely. I mean, the question of ethics is obviously one that we'll come back to continuously, isn't it? Around, and I think as a role as a university and as organisations, we do have that responsibility, don't we, for the ethical use of these tools in the end. I mean, I suppose there's always a push-pull of organisations trying to make money and profit out of these things and blurring the boundaries with ethics, but it's certainly a topic which we can explore further throughout this course as well. All right, so thanks for those questions. So Sammar, if it's okay with you, I will add your slides to the stage and hand over to you.
Okay, thank you, Alex, and a very good morning to all the viewers. So my session would be on the modern use cases which we can take forward with AI. So I'll start with this. I hope many of you would have seen this picture. So what this shows is there are many sides of the truth. So and it's the same with this sort of short course also. So all the presenters will be presenting you one aspect of the overall AI picture and the overall AI landscape. So same with my presentation also. So I'll be taking you through only one side. As I said, ethics side would be an ethics domain, would be the other domain. Data domain would be the other domain. Application, programming, coding. So there are multiple sort of planes which combine and form the overall AI picture. So that's why we encourage you to attend all the sessions so that you can get a holistic picture, holistic overview of the overall AI landscape in the industry. So I'll be taking you through one aspect of this, which is how to sort of leverage AI for modern use cases, which you might not have sort of heard of, or you may not be aware of enough. Okay, so the red bird at the top is important. So we are not discussing the very sort of routine regression, classification, and clustering examples, because if you go to any tutorial on the web or any machine learning course on Coursera, you always end up starting with one of these and then go on and study the remaining. So sometimes you start with regression, classification, and clustering, and or a mix of those. So since you have come to attend this course, so I'm assuming that you want to sort of know more beyond these starting points. So we are not discussing simple regression, classification, or clustering. Okay. And we are also not discussing generative AI, because I'm assuming a lot of other speakers would talk about that. And being in the news um, enough lately, I'm sure you would have a general understanding of where to apply generative AI, what are the capabilities, what it can do, what it cannot do as of yet. And also, we are not delving into the coding because it's a 15-minute session and we can't take you into the coding aspects. But I can just point you in the right direction, and I hope you would be encouraged to take up one of the use cases in your future studies or in your future job later on. So these pointers to the side. So what are we going to discuss if we are discussing not whatever I said just now? So we'll be discussing applications which I believe would inspire you to sort of know more about upcoming AI models and techniques, and hopefully encourage you and prepare you to work in the AI domain. So some points to keep in mind before I start. What I'm telling you is just a very broad overview because of the lack of time, and some areas I've not included because of the time constraints. Some areas I've not included because of the expertise constraints, because I'm not an expert in everything. So, and also the learning is up to you. I can just point you in the right direction. So let's start with one of the use cases. So we are all familiar with video surveillance. In fact, CCTV surveillance has been a part of our sort of social lives and social setups for a very long time now. And what we are accustomed to is associating CCTV with this kind of footage, which you see on the right. So these are sort of video footages, which we all know are captured by CCTV cameras. So this is the scenario without the AI. Now, if I want to incorporate AI into the CCTV domain or the CCTV use case, what are the options or what are the possibilities? So these are some of the possibilities which AI can help with in the CCTV sort of domain. So the first thing is called multi-camera stitching. The name is sort of sounding imposing, but it is nothing much but rather about tracking one object, let's say a car, which is traveling at a very high speed across multiple roads and intersections, and multiple cameras are sort of capturing that car. So imagine a thief or a burglar being chased by the police in a yellow car or something, and that car goes through one road, then an intersection, then a roundabout, then another intersection and another road. So that car is being captured by multiple cameras through via multiple angles, and multiple video feeds will have different views of the car. Some cameras will have the front view, some cameras will have the rear view, some cameras on the roundabout may have the side view. So AI can help us stitch all those video footages together to form one continuous sort of track of the vehicle across multiple roads and lanes and roundabouts. So this is a very upcoming field in the security, mm, government-based security systems like the policing systems. Another thing is the one that is written in blue. We can use these AI-based models for anti-stampede analytics. So we have seen recently in the news that there are various stampedes in when there is a football game finishing with lots of fans, or when there is a religious procession, or when there is a sort of a crowd due to earthquake or something. So these systems, these AI-based models can help us understand crowd behavior, and this is a very growing domain. So you may want to sort of learn more about it and how to use AI-based anti-stampede models. Then another thing is this is more of an obvious thing, is weapon detection in real time. So suppose a person is carrying some gun. So AI-based systems have now been developed well enough to detect weapons in real time rather than post processing, and they are able to alert the appropriate authorities if sort of an unauthorized weapon is detected in a CCTV video feed. And the last one is also interesting. This is coming up in a big way. So it's called metadata-driven video search. What it means in simple words is, suppose the police knows that there is a burglar or a thief wearing a blue jacket and carrying a white bag. So instead of manually looking across the entire CCTV feeds of multiple locations and multiple supermarkets and multiple shops and multiple road cameras, they can have an AI driven search in the video by just giving some prompts like identify those frames where you see a person wearing a blue jacket with a white bag, and AI can help us identify those sections of the videos, and then the task is much easier to sort of look at those sections and identify where that uh, thief or burglar went from there on. So this is one aspect of AI where mostly the AI is working on the video data which is being captured from the CCTV feed. Now, as Steve mentioned, one aspect of a good AI model is the availability of good quality data. Now, in some use cases, good quality data is not readily available, but in the CCTV domain, very high quality data is available all the time, because the quality of the CCTV cameras itself as the hardware component and the feed that they capture is increasing by the day, and we have the availability of very high quality video feeds in real time. So there's no sort of dearth of data or lack of data, and therefore these models are progressing very well. So you may want to choose one of these areas for your further sort of interest, or you may want to research more in one of these areas. Now, another use case that is coming up is the area of non-conventional power systems or energy systems. So these are some of the applications where AI is actively being used in the area of energy and power. So as Steve also mentioned, AI models are very good at sort of time series forecasting. So we can use it for predictive maintenance for any hardware components of the wind turbines, solar panels. If we take photographs of solar panels regularly, and we can monitor for cracks or damages, and even geothermal power plants. And another aspect of time series forecasting is the forecasting of the energy generated by, let's say, a windmill located in a certain geographical area. So that is a typical example of a time series forecasting system. Another example of a interesting use case is all the electric vehicle domain, where there's something called vehicle to grid optimization. So suppose you go to a bay where you have lots of charging stations. So if the AI system that is controlling the vehicle to grid optimization there notices that there is a lot of load in that particular area for uh, or electric demand, so they can reduce the number of available charging stations for that particular moment or for that particular duration of time. And when the city demand ceases to exist, then they can increase the availability of charging stations so that more and more vehicles can charge. So that can be made flexible by the use of AI models. And largely last one is sort of obvious, energy efficiency optimization in modern day buildings. So AI models can control window openings for large buildings when the temperature is sort of slightly higher than the required one. It can open the windows or it can close the windows automatically using an AI-based energy efficiency optimization model. So these are again some, and most of these, at least of the few top ones, are based on time series forecasting, and also you can have a real-time optimization also, as you see towards the last two models. Now coming to Amanda's question and the answer. So we'll talk about some aspects of healthcare and the use cases there. So these are some of the use cases that I'll be talking about. But as I said in the beginning, I'll not be taking up all the possible use cases because of, firstly, the lack of time, and secondly, because I'm not an expert in either power systems or healthcare. So I'll just give you an overview. So firstly, we are talking about AI models which can deliver precision diagnostics with multimodal data integration. So multimodal is a term which Steve also very emphasized a lot. So let me spend a minute on explaining what multimodal is. So multimodal means a combination of data through multiple uh, aspects or sources. Like we can have a combination of audio data, video data, and maybe um, speech and images and um, data which is in the form of text. So a combination of this data is called multimodal data. So if you are interested in AI, you would be knowing that earlier machine learning models, the primitive machine learning models, were sort of single mode data only. So they could either process text or images or videos, but now or audio. But now we are coming to an era where we are trying to process multimodal data in the same sort of use case, and obviously integrating the different aspects of the data leads to a better understanding of whatever the use case is, and therefore we are able to deliver more precise diagnostics. So for example, just to pinpoint a clear cut example for this, so if I have a smartwatch, and the smartwatch is collecting data about my sort of wrist temperature or blood oxygen, and if I combine that kind of data with another kind of data, which is my family history or my genomic history for my uh, family, and then I combine the data with what the doctor is saying about my reports, and then I combine that with my radiology, like MRI and CT scans. So that combination of data is called sort of a multimodal data integration, and obviously with multiple sort of aspects of the same patient being available, the AI model is able to deliver um, diagnostics which are much more precise than what it could do with a single data stream, like only looking at the MRI. And this continues with the second point, that we can deliver more dynamic treatment optimization with something called reinforcement learning. What it means in simple terms is that for each individual patients, if we are knowing about what the patient's history is, what their genomics is, what the doctor says, what their radiology says, so we can sort of make a treatment plan which is dynamic, and if the patient is responding more to a certain treatment, then we can carry on that treatment line of treatment. If the patient is not responding well, then we can dynamically change it rather than completing the whole course. So this is another area which is upcoming in a big way. Another area which is sort of not well addressed is mental health monitoring and intervention. Now, this is where something called NLP comes into the picture, which is the full form is natural language processing. So if we look at the patient's health data, let's say from a smartwatch or the radiology, the CT scans of the brain, and also look at what the patient is interacting with other persons, like what he's saying, what he's writing, and his messages. So if we have an access to that, then we can get a picture of the overall mental health using sort of something called sentiment analysis and natural language processing on his text or verbal outputs, and then we can sort of make a picture, a holistic picture of the mental health of that patient, and then we can introduce proper interventions. And one more use case which is coming up, actually it has already come up, but research is ongoing to improve it further. It's called federated learning for privacy preserving healthcare. So there are two keywords in this, so I'll explain each of those separately. So privacy preserving means that if I have my data, like my health data or my private data, like my blood pressure or my blood oxygen or my wrist temperature, so that data should be private for me and possibly to my healthcare providers like my doctors or GPs. But no other party should have access to that. So that is called privacy preserving. So the data should be preserved. The privacy of the data should be preserved for the owner and the legitimate users. So one aspect of machine learning which can help us achieve this is called federated learning, where the training of the model using my data would be on my device, let's say my smartphone, and only the outputs of the training or the outcomes of the training, like the weights of the trained model, are transported or communicated to a central model or a central server where they are aggregated coming from different smartphones to improve the model, but the data never leaves my device, so therefore ensuring the privacy of my data. So this is another use case which is coming up in a big way. And as I keep saying, so these are just overviews, but if you want to sort of proceed further in any one of these, or even the business intelligence use cases which Steve mentioned, or the ones that were mentioned in the session one, or the ones that would be mentioned in the upcoming sessions, you will have to sort of make a call on which aspect of AI you want to learn more about and delve into more, and then you can become an expert at that. Now coming to the next slide. So this is my advice. This is towards, now we are coming towards the end of my session. So this is my advice to students who want to build a career in machine learning. So first you have to choose one aspect which you want to sort of work in. You cannot be a master of everything or all the type of applications or use cases. So you must choose a domain. You can sort of look into multiple domains starting with, but ultimately you'll have to make up your mind and then practice and build some example models. But this is the most this is the most cautious stage. You should be most cautious about this stage, because I have seen a lot of prospective good students stuck at this stage, looking at multiple tutorials and falling into that sort of endless loop of just looking at websites, tutorials, and just making simple models. So you must make the jump to the next step, which is real applications. So switch to working on real applications as soon as you can. And as Alex mentioned, and as Toyosi has mentioned multiple times, 2 years master's degree programs would help you make this switch really easily, because you get the second year to work on real applications in your placements or industry-based projects. So this is my advice to all the listeners. And I think that's my time. So I'll stop here. Any questions?
That's fantastic, Sammar. Thank you so much. It's a real crucial reminder that AI isn't just ChatGPT. I think sometimes it's really kind of present and in the media and everywhere, and we forget actually about all these wonderful applications that perhaps aren't quite as in your face, as you will, in terms of you're interacting with them and they're all over the media, but some really fascinating applications there. And we've got some cracking questions actually. We've got one from Teddy, but I'm just going to start off with this one from Latana, who asked, please, can you give more details on how AI assistants will be on renewable forecasting with examples? Thanks. Is that could you pick that one up, Sammar?
Yeah, so thank you for the question, and this is a very relevant question to what I said. So one of my students, currently a master student, he's working on one of these examples. So what he's doing is he has the data from a certain geographical location in the north of England. So what he's doing is he is taking that data and preparing a time series forecasting, so that if let's say a wind energy farm is installed at that place, what would be the month-to-month energy generated from such a wind energy farm. So this is actually being implemented as we speak. So somebody is actually making time series models for wind energy forecasting. So, and this can also be done for geothermal energies, although I have not worked on my own, or none of my student has worked on geothermal energy, but one of my student is actually working on wind energy forecasting using one of these models.
Brilliant, thank you for that. Now then, Teddy, we've got your question here. Do you want to read that one out, Teddy, or do you want to tweak it a little?
He could. Yeah, he could just answer.
He's answered already.
Oh, right. Then that's fine. That's fine. I would just like him to answer because I was just specific on how AI could be held accountable, because it seems as though we are all engaging and using AI, and I mean I would just really like to hear from him to just know precisely how it would just help how we can hold AI accountable, and how it won't really affect us in decision making and all of that. Yeah.
And I suppose
Yeah,
that
so this
taps into Kenneth's question as well about ethics, doesn't it? So thanks for that, Teddy.
Yeah.
Over to you, Sammar.
Yeah, so this is a question which has been I'll have to go back I think 2.5 years for this. So I was chatting to one of my friends who owns a Tesla. So I asked him that if your car hits somebody, who is accountable? The Tesla company, because it's a self-driving car, or you, because you are the driver? So it's a dilemma which I must say that we don't have a clear answer to yet, but governments and government agencies and institutions are sort of converging to a solution. So if you see, the European Union has sort of bringing out the AI Act in a big way, and there are lots of sort of AI laws and regulations being framed in the US across multiple states. So I'm sure there would come a time where the accountability would be decided for different AI models. So where does the accountability lie? I'm sure there would be a time where we will have a final answer to that, but not as of now.
Thank you very much.
Generally speaking, with these technologies, they're quite often the head of the law and the legal frameworks. But it was great to hear from Professor Sylvester last week as well, that he felt quite optimistic that regulation would be able to catch up with some of these things. So that's enlightening. And discussions like this, I think, really help unpicking these complex things and allowing us to be able to make sure these things are being used in the positive way. In terms of your answer for Amanda there, Sammar, she says, thank you very much, Dr. Sammar. That was enlightening. And Kenneth just got another question there saying, thank you, Sammar. The case studies are really interesting. What is your suggestion in using AI in traceability in supply chain management?
Yeah, so Kenneth, thank you for this question. I actually teach a blockchain module here in the University of Chester, where I talk about this in very great detail. So yes, AI can be used in traceability in supply chain management, but on the top of AI, we can also use blockchain. So it's a combination of AI with blockchain, and the companies are using AI for traceability in supply chain, more so in conjunction with blockchain, because blockchain keeps the data immutable. So and supply chain management requires that characteristic, that once the data has been logged on, it should not be mutable, or it should not be able to change. So it's a combination of AI and blockchain, which sort of is enhancing traceability in supply chain management.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Sammar. That's everything for questions there. So we've got 4 minutes left of this hour. So that just leads us on to the final little section, which is Teddy. So also you've got some questions for Teddy about his experience.
Yeah, thank you very much, Alex, and thanks, Teddy, for coming around today.
Thank you for the invite.
I remember that you were one of our MSc cybersecurity students, and you actually performed distinctively in your academics. So today, I just want to know, at the beginning, what was it that attracted you to the University of Chester?
To be honest, finding the right university was never the easiest decision to make. There were a lot of factors that I had to put into play: the academic structure, the location of the university, the cost. And I'll tell you for a fact, I don't regret my choice of being at the University of Chester, because I've gained a lot of knowledge and skills from the university, which has helped me in networking, securing jobs, attending interviews, and much more. So it's been really wonderful. When I first came across University of Chester online, when I went to the website, it was amazing. I saw the modules. I saw the modules for cybersecurity. I saw the courses they had to offer, and I was impressed. I like the idea that I like the fact that their modules were current and up to date. They met the real world demand for cybersecurity. We had modules like pen tests, digital forensics, software exploitation, and several other similar courses that were very good, cyber concepts and the rest, which really enforced myself into the world of cybersecurity. Again, the lecturers, they were amazing. They were knowledgeable and they were also approachable. They made learning very easy and created a collaborative environment for engagement. I always used to say, there's never a wrong question in learning. There's never a wrong question, because in learning you always learn. So always feel free to ask. And the lecturers made it very easy for myself, to be fair, and every other person, because it was easy to understand. If you get confused, if you get stuck, they were always available for you. They were always, even during off times, they were always there to always listen to you and help you and guide you through it all. The resources were amazing. The library resources, the online resources, the employability. It was fantastic. I never and I do not regret my choice of being at the University of Chester, and I would choose the University of Chester again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Teddy, for that. I think myself and my colleagues are pleased to hear that we've actually met your expectations. So going further, since you finished your study with us, I believe we've impacted you. You've talked about that already. Can you tell us how have you been able to trace how that impact has fed into your future prospect, particularly your current employment?
So the knowledge and skills I gained have contributed to my success, because there are certain courses modules I took during my master's program that I've been able to tune and implement in my real world scenarios. Whereas when I'm working, I come across certain things. For example, I might come across protecting users. I'm trying to put the right words, sorry. But yeah, there are times where I'm trying to solve a problem or help users. I'll give you this very simple case study where I help cyber crime victims. So because I have the experience of software exploitation and digital forensics, I have an idea of what to detect first. So when a user comes with a problem, I'm always quick to understand. The knowledge I have helps me solve problems and help assist whoever comes to me who's in trouble. So I'll say it has really been useful, the knowledge I've gained. It has also helped me network too, because I've been able to meet people and learn more from people. And to be fair, I'm also considering furthering the education by getting more certifications and specializing in the field of cybersecurity too.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Thank you,
Yeah.
Teddy. It's good to know how you have been able to apply your knowledge. I know you also talked about the teamwork and the collaboration that you got during your time with us in Chester. Thanks again for coming.
Yes.
And it's
Thank you
good to
very
have
much for having me. Yeah.
Alex.
Teddy, thank you so much for that. So it was wonderful to hear about your positive experience and the fact that, you know, at Chester we're teaching the right subjects and, you know, allowing you those networks as well. Last week we talked a lot about social capital, and in this day and age of, you know, disruptive technology, the people aspect, or, you know, creating people-focused, data-driven organisations has never been more important, has it, I think, in the end. So thank you so much for those insights. So that brings us to the hour, sadly, Toyosi. Can you believe how quickly that's gone?
Yeah, very quick.
So it just remains for me to remind you, everybody, about the actions there. So make sure you've registered already. Make sure you've put your diary, all the session dates, and taking a look at Chester's study options, undergraduate or postgraduate. Following us on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. Those are the places where the live streams and recordings will be as well. And obviously, post to social media you've joined the Chester AI Leadership Short Course. Feel free to tag us in, you know, send us a LinkedIn invite. And then we'll see you for the next session 3, which is on AI data security on the 29th of July at 10 o'clock UK time. Chris, thank you for your comment there. Thanks, Teddy. Great insights. If anybody's, we've got a lot of live viewers today, so if you want to say a quick hello, tell us what country you're joining from, please do feel free, stick that in the chat, and we'll give you a quick shout either today or in the next session. And other than that, Toyosi, I think we can wrap up. Any final words, Toyosi?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for everyone that joined us today, and please do catch up on or if you have missed last week's session, please catch up on the video on YouTube, and also catch up with us in the next session in the 29th of July.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Sammar, Teddy, and Steve for the wonderful insights today. It's been a cracking session. So I think we can end that one today, and then we look forward to seeing everybody next time. Take care.
Yeah, bye.
Thank you. Bye.